I think a lot of times when you hire the consulting firms, they talk about technology and they build you sometimes a data lake, sometimes a platform, but they don't know how to use it. What excites me about the media agencies is we put it to work. We actually figure out what good looks like. We figure out how to optimize within those platforms, and we tell our clients if the platforms are worth the money. If it's a value, effort, reward, we help grade the homework of all the consulting firms and others. So I think right now it's a really trying time in the industry. There's fragmentation, I think there's confusion about what these systems are. I would also argue that clients are overspending on a lot of these platforms. They can make more rational decisions, finding simpler tests, simpler solutions. So I think there's a massive role for agencies to play right now, not just to help solve technology problems, but to really put clients' investment and marketing dollars to work in our
So you're relatively new to the agency. What is your experience with the role that you're playing and proliferation throughout your company for this perspective?
I think there's some agencies that come in with their singular product and they say take it or leave it. I think it's a really difficult role for clients to accept. Havas has a different position. We believe that we should partner with our clients to build technology together. So it's a partner and build mentality. Partnership in terms of bringing different ecosystem vendors to the table, and those could be identity resolution vendors, they could be currency vendors, they could be attribution vendors, but we believe we should make that decision together. And oftentimes we'll run RFIs, RFPs with clients. We'll evaluate different partners together, and then we'll figure out how the technology stack should live based on the client's use cases. And that's really important. It's not a one size fits all. It depends on the problems they're trying to solve.
With the upfront upon us shortly, what do you think of the role of data this year in the upfront world? Last year, it began to take a more prominent role. I'm sure that will continue. So what's your perspective on how that all plays out?
I mean, it's, first and foremost, content proliferation is growing. I think consumers and viewers are getting more excited about the content that's on television. So the supply and the inventory, I think, is getting richer, which means that pricing can go up. I think it means that our advertisers want to pay for richer quality content. And I think there's a lot of different types of inventory that are out there. For me as a data scientist and really a practitioner of optimization, it's a question of how do you evaluate that quality and what is it worth? The upfront is one type of way to buy what you believe it's worth, but at the same time, you don't have to go all in. And I think that's the beauty of the marketplace right now. You can actually buy inventory in the upfront that you can optimize later on. So it's more of a ticket to go in and evaluate the success of different programs, different types of networks, or even optimize across different programming styles, different day parts. So to me, I think what's been challenging about the original upfront, the idea of the upfront, is you go all in and you have to stay with what you're getting. The technology that exists for a lot of the networks now allows you to optimize within that inventory pool, or even across different networks. So it's a really rich landscape. The data, I think, is getting much better. The data sharing is getting much better for the upfronts. And I think that helps our advertisers, it helps the agencies get more transparency into what they're buying, and ultimately, I think it helps the networks to secure better upfront deals.
How do you spend your time balanced between the tactical nature of data, the buying in the upfront, and educating clients?
Client education is first and foremost. Clients have to know what they're getting into. I mean, I think of my team as change managers. They have to go in and help clients to understand that there's different types of inventory, there's different currencies, there's different ways to evaluate success, there's different optimization tools, different data sets. Like I said before, it's so complex with how to evaluate whether something is working or not working. And it's a really simple question. Did this program work? And there's nuances. So I think educating clients on what success looks like is paramount. But on top of that, I think it's optimization that's really important, because clients have to know we're not sitting and waiting, that we're always thinking about what's the next step. We're keeping an optimization log. We're keeping different tools in our back pocket for ways to improve, different ways to work with networks and different advertisers. So I think it's a running tally of how best to use the money that we're given, because we're stewards. We're accountable stewards of the funds that our clients give us.
So, a year from now, looking back on this year, what do you think are going to be the biggest changes that happen, and looking ahead, what do you think they'll continue to be?
I mean, I could throw out technology buzzwords like clean rooms, we can talk about CDPs, but I think there's a lot of technical hoopla that we have to go through in order to solve what those are. I mean, I really think it's transparency is the biggest buzzword of the year. If we can get a clear way to evaluate identity resolution, so which customer are you targeting? If we can get clarity on currencies and how they're evaluated, if we can get transparency on how attribution models are run, I think it's just aligning on methodologies for how a lot of these things work in the back end, because you can get very lost in this vendor is better than that vendor, but unless you know exactly how to cross-compare them, it's apples and oranges. So I think it's transparency in terms of how the systems work in the back end and getting everyone on the same playing field.
You're the most succinct data scientist I think I've ever met. So, one of your perspectives is that your role allows you to unlock the true potential of one's media investment and to future-proof your clients. Could you talk a little bit about that perspective?
I think every client should have an ROI. And that term is being thrown around quite a lot. It has been for 30 years, but every client should know what the ROI of their investment is. They hand over $1 million, as an example, to an agency, they should know exactly how much they get back on that currency exchange, how they sell their product, the type of inventory they got. They should know that it's delivering the sort of value that they would expect from the business. The challenge exists in what is the right tool to get you to that ROI. But if you can agree on the tool, the widget, the methodology, and you can get to a stable investment allocation model, this type of money gets funneled into these campaigns, into this brand, into this time of day, into this network, et cetera. You get into a planning architecture, and you agree on what that toolkit is. The ROI should go up over time. And if you're able to get to the right model for your business and you're able to evaluate what success looks like, I think it's a winning formula for the agency, because you can build case studies, you can build true identification that you helped the client to improve their business. But it's also great for the client because their business is growing in real time, and they can identify to their CEO, to the CMO, that this theoretical marketing budget, and there's always a joke, 50% works, you don't know which 50%. If you can build a real ROI model, a way to target your effectiveness, decrease the things that aren't working, increase the things that are, and use it over time, over long periods, 3 to 5 years, you can get to real business benefits. So to me, that's the heart of what my team's job is and what I'm the steward of for my clients' money.